The bikes. After
Max is living up. It's dusty here. Not hot. Weather. I think as an athlete, you expect to get injured, but you never expect a major injury like a leg break. And me having broken two of the biggest bones in my leg, that puts a freaking damper on your season. That puts a damper on life in general. It just sucks. You have a full video right after I broke my leg. I'll link that video right up here for any of those that are interested in watching it. So it really took about 7 months for me to be able to walk about half a mile to a mile without any major pain. And a lot of people recommended to me that I take certain vitamins or, do certain exercises that I can find on YouTube. And I'm gonna be honest and tell you guys, I did none of that. I listened to my body, which I think was the most important part and the most crucial piece. When I would walk however long I walked and then I felt some pain in my leg, I would say, okay, let's go back inside, let's ice it, let's elevate it, because those are the only things that I knew would actually help me and work. And I think that, looking at things financially, it was a huge relief that I didn't have to have surgery. But, am I gonna have issues later down the road with, not my leg being strong enough? I don't know. Or let's look at things vice versa. Had I put, a metal rod in my leg, what if I had issues with that later on down the road? Because, you hear these horror stories of people, having both. And I think at the end of the day, I'm super happy with the decision I made. I'm happy that we didn't have to resort to surgery. I am happy that we could let it heal naturally. And I'm happy with being at a 10-month mark and being able to sit here and say, listen, I can cycle and I can actually jog now. I can do HIIT exercises. I can jump on my leg. I can do the normal things that I was doing before I broke my leg. Maybe being a little bit more attentive to seeing, being a little bit more careful. Swelling, I saw swelling for the first 4 months, 5 months. My leg doesn't really swell now. If it does, then I go ahead and ice it. That's kind of the only remedy that you can do, elevate and ice the leg. There was one point where I literally thought I needed a size 8 for my right foot and a size 12 for my left foot. I would walk around with a sneaker on my right foot and a slide, my foot would barely fit into a slide. That's how bad it was. When it came to bruising, I had a huge bruise across the bottom of my foot, but I didn't have any bruising on my shin or the top of my foot. It was only on the side. And that bruising lasted about a month and a half, and then it all disappeared and never came back again. So I actually was never casted. My leg was never casted. And they put me in one of those big black heavy boots. I think I wore that for about 2 months, and I used crutches to get around as much as I could. Whenever I would go out in public, I would use one of those mobility scooters that they would have for people to use. And then once I got out of that, I started walking on my foot, being pretty careful, making sure I didn't twist it in the grass or if I was on uneven ground. There's no medicine or no specific thing that I did to make my recovery time faster. Basically, my doctor just told me to elevate and ice my leg as much as possible. So that's exactly what I would do. If I was sitting down watching TV, I would put pillows underneath my leg to kind of prop it up. When I would sleep, I had to sleep in the boot, unfortunately. So I would prop up my leg and then I would have it in the boot so I didn't accidentally nudge into it. The pain was probably level 7, level 8, and if it got any worse, I would take 2-3 Tylenol or Advil. I think I took Tylenol, and then it would be fine. But obviously I didn't want to become addicted to Tylenol, so I would only take a couple throughout the day if the pain was really awful. How many times did I go to the doctor? I would say I went to the doctor a total of 3 times. When it first happened, I went to my orthopedic. They took the initial x-ray where we found out that it was actually broken. The second time was about halfway through the healing process, just to make sure that it was healing up right. Actually, I think it might have been like two weeks into it healing, just to make sure everything was okay and that I actually, in fact, did not need surgery. And then the third final visit was after I had already been cleared, just to kind of check in and make sure everything looked good, dandy, and I haven't been back since, fortunately. I think everyone has good and bad days, and I think getting over an injury, you kind of have to have a game plan. You have to face your issue straight on, just like you would with any issue, and you have to put together a game plan, like I'm gonna do XYZ to overcome this challenge, and I'm gonna come out on top. And I think that's kind of the road where I'm heading down, and I think that's the outlook that I kind of have on injuries. Nothing is too big or small. You can do absolutely anything that you put your mind to.